Death has always been a central theme in human life. Whether for a philosopher sitting on his balcony in search of meaning, or a mother watering her flowers alongside her children in the gentle morning sun, everyone gazes toward the end. Yet they differ in how they view it. Is it a look of dread and fear, or one of hope and love? Do we avert our eyes from that closed door, or do our hands tremble to open it and step into what lies beyond? It was no different. Even if we traveled thousands of miles and went back thousands of years to ancient kingdoms, to the blue shores of Greece, where death was approached in a beautiful and captivating way. Together, we will see how Greek mythology portrayed death, unlike the modern cinematic image that depicts the grim reaper as a terrifying skeleton with a curved scythe and a tattered robe. To the Greeks, it was quite the opposite, and truly fascinating. A handsome, vibrant youth with wings fluttering against the twilight. He descends like a gentle visitor, harvesting souls as the wind sweeps spring blossoms. This was Thanatos, the ancient Greek god and symbol of death, twin brother to Hypnos, the god of sleep. A profound metaphor rendering death as a natural ritual of life, no different than sleep. And it does not stop here. Rather, it unfolds into what the Greeks viewed as a human drama. Death triumphs many times, yet it can be tricked, just as it happened in the palace hall with Sisyphus. It can be defeated in raw physical combat, as seen against the colossal strikes of Hercules. And at times, even death reveals touches of mercy, like the night it carried the body of Sarpedon so he might finally rest in his homeland. First, let us listen to what took place within the walls of that palace. The great deception, the cunning of Sisyphus. Sisyphus was a mortal, fearful of death, much like most humans. Yet what set him apart was his decision to face it with a different kind of weapon, absolute wit and cunning. When the wings of Thanatos descended into the palace and their rustle echoed through the halls, Sisyphus knew the awaited hour had come. But he had been preparing for this moment for years. He received the envoy of death with a warm smile and a gracious welcome, as though Thanatos were an old friend.
As the conversation unfolded exactly as Sisyphus had planned, Thanatos' eyes were drawn to a pair of glowing chains, radiating a legendary brilliance. Sisyphus knew right then Thanatos had taken the bait. With a cunning smile, he slyly proposed that Thanatos try them on, just to test their sheer strength and durability. The moment of realization came. Far too late. The links of the chains had locked tightly around Thanatos' body, preventing him from flying and reaping souls. What do you think happened next? Did the world become a paradise, and were people happier? Unfortunately, that was not the case. For the balance of the world was shattered. People stopped dying entirely, and the battlefields were filled with everything except death. Soldiers were wounded, and arrows pierced the bodies of warriors, yet their eyes remained wide open, fighting on, unable to rest in death. The world had lost all logic until the rage of Ares, the god of war, erupted. He unleashed his violence, shattering the chains and freeing death to restore order once more. Time afterward, Thanatos completed what he was accustomed to doing, but he decided after that deception to be more vigilant and cautious against temptations and tricks, to avoid any future defeat. But even death obeys fate. For after a while, far from cunning and tricks, legends tell us how Thanatos was forced, on a bright moonlit night, before the fists of the wrestler Hercules, to return the soul of Queen Alcestis after she sacrificed herself to die instead of her husband. There, in the shadows of the graveyard, death faced another defeat, but this time with raw human strength, not with cunning and deception. And before we bid farewell to Thanatos in our short story, it would be a mistake to neglect mentioning his noble stance with Sarpedon, which has been immortalized in many Greek paintings and pottery. During the famous Trojan War, which I assume you have heard of, the hero Sarpedon, son of Zeus, fell slain on the grand battlefield. Zeus grieved deeply for his son and feared that his body might be desecrated by enemy hands. Thus, he sent the twins, Thanatos and Hypnos. The two gods descended into the middle of the dust of war. They carried the body of the hero with gentleness and immense kindness to fly away with him so he may finally rest in his homeland. These stories show that Thanatos was not a villainous cartoon character, but rather carried the nature of an inevitable enforcer of fate. At times, his majesty was subdued by cunning, at times by force, and at other times he showed gentleness and immense politeness. And in the end, after this entire journey through mythology, what do you think about death? Do you see it as a scary end, or bright and beautiful, like the wings of Thanatos